every apple you touch, you get 1 point. There's 3 sprites. It's an apple, there's a player, and an obstacle. I call it an arrow. You don't have to use those 3. You can make it a different person. It doesn't have to be an apple. It can be a starfish, a ball, anything you want, okay? But every time the player gets the object, you get a point. After it gets touched, it goes to another random spot on the stage, okay? The arrows are gonna fly from this side of the screen across to that side of the screen. If the arrow hits the player, he gets a strike, okay? Game ends when the player gets hit 3 times by an arrow. The player moves up and down, back and forth. Up, down, left, and right. The apple doesn't move. This guy goes this way. Okay? You want to have your score and number of strikes visible on the screen. And like I said, use any costumes you want. I don't care what they are. It doesn't have to be this little guy. It could be a girl. It could be Alonzo. It could be anything you want. Okay? Anything else you put in there is up to you. But it has to do those 5 things. Now here's a bonus for you. I want you to make it so that this guy can't be off the screen. Right? I want you to limit this motion so that if he gets to the top, it doesn't let you move. But put that on later. That'll be extra at the bottom. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? None? All right. Now, here's something before you get started. How many? And what does each one do? What does each sprite do? Remember, each sprite has its own editor page. It has its own group of threads. For instance, in this game, the guy, the player, in that case, his name is Jamie, all he's responsible for is moving around, right? When you hit the keys, you want him to move, right? Maybe you make it so that it's up to him to determine if he's touching somebody else. Or it could be up to the apple to determine if it's touching somebody else. That's up to you. That's why you want to do that. That's the first part. Next, variables. Again, how many? How many? And what do they store? What is it for? Each one of them. Okay? The second part. The third part is decisions or equations. What kind of decisions have to be made? What type of decisions have to be made? Right? Decisions, detections, stuff like that. Right? What am I looking for? I'm moving around. What am I waiting for? You need to have that down. Now, here's the cool thing about this part. This is never wrong, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Does not have to be perfect. But it does have to exist. Okay? It has to exist. It doesn't have to be perfect. In other words, never in my lifetime, in 20 years, have I ever laid out everything and known exactly what was going to happen before I started. I had most of it, even for stuff I've done for this class, right? But you want it to be there, right? So you can see it, so you can look at it, because as your program goes, it gets more complex, and even you will get lost, I promise you. We write notes in programs at work, and when I first started, I'm like, what do I have to do that? I wrote it. He says, you will forget, because we write and read so much stuff. I wrote something in Thanksgiving, went home for the holidays. When I came back, I'm like, who wrote this? And they're like, oh, you did, Coleman. I'm like, oh, snap, right? That's why it's so important. It's a roadmap. You even need it for yourself. Now, while you might be able to, this is small enough, you might be able to sit there and do it in your head. It is best that you get in the habit of doing this. Number one, because academically, you should be graded on this. More so than if your program works. That's computer science. How to do it. Okay? Secondly, if you decide to do this for a living, you might as well know how to learn how to do it now. You have to do it in school, you have to do it on the job. Right? And whether or not you're in computer science for a living or not, you have to do this. You work at the supermarket, you drive a truck, right? Whatever you do, you're gonna have to be able to explain to people who don't know how to do what you do, what you did and why. That's half of my job, explaining to people who don't know how to do what I did, why they should give me $100 million for what we do. When a sprite is touching something, on your screen, there is a block in the sensor that looks like this. And it says when touching. Find that block. It's in sensing. You see it? Blue.